Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner stream. And tonight I pulled out one of the two totems that I received in one of my goodie boxes. I've had a totem before, but it's been a few years. And I believe that one was spaghetti. And this one is packed by Warnick, so there is no date code on the bag itself. And this has a peelable seal like the older halal MREs did, and like the some of the other older Sapaco civilian rations, like the reduced sodium ones. Now they come in that inner bag style packaging like would be in some Sapaco MREs and virtually all Ameriqual MREs. So I don't know the year on this, but basically this is a reduced calorie ration. It's designed for less strenuous activity when a standard food supply might not be available or appropriate, but yet they don't need the full calorie range that you would get from a standard MRE or an MCW. Let's see, we got got a face in here I've never seen before. Cliff, welcome. Thanks for dropping in. Got Booger Butt and Booger Butt. I'll be Dave, most likely, and spicy tuna rolls. I got a pot of, I got 2 pots on the stove coming up to a boil. These also do not have a hot drink option, but they do have a cold drink option. But as you can see, my foreign MRE mug, that means I'm going to make myself a hot drink. So time to test this peelable seal. Sometimes these things work, sometimes not. They're really bad on the MCW bags because they're thicker. And for some reason the peelable seal is not centered on the bag. It's actually right there instead of right above where it says peelable seal, which is kind of weird. There we go. We do have my favorite of the tortillas, the chipotle tortillas. This has a date code that starts with 0, so I am going to assume that this is a 2020 TOTM. It's got James Ortiz. Let's see, anyone else? Nope, that's it so far. So we got Chipotle tortillas. We do have the flameless ration heater, which I'm not going to use. I'm in my apartment, I can save these for emergency use. We got the same type accessory packet that you would find in some of the other emeries, like the halal or the low sodium ones, or some of the other civilian type. Tropical Punch. My second least favorite of the U.S. Emery drinks. That will go into the drinking jar. Chocolate chip cookie. I wasn't sure if there was going to be any kind of a dessert, so I had a backup plan for that. Well, that backup plan will go bye-bye. Roasted and salted peanuts. Again, date code. Starts at the 0 later in 2020. So this might be a 2021, considering that this one is also late in 2020. It could be 2020 or it could be 21. Drink powder. Date code starts with a 0. And then the last thing in here is the sleeve, which has a nutritional info for the chili mac. And all the usual stuff that you find on these cards. And like my usual, I use the ration bag as a trash bag. Let's see what's in the accessory packet. Get the standard spoon. Salt and pepper. There we go. Now it got back into focus. All emery should have salt and pepper. Oh, there's a coffee mate creamer. Two packets of King sugar. Well, maybe there is a hot drink option, because I was looking at some stuff online and it said that there would be a hot drink option. So I threw some sugar in for a hot drink of my choosing. You do get the same type of napkin that you get in the halal MREs and in the Sapaca low sodiums. I've never had any of the APAC or some of the ones that Warnick has done. Or I've never had a full MRE star one. I've had a few full XMRE ones. So got Bill's Brew and a wet wipe are the last two items in that accessory pack. But instead of the type of packaging that you would get with any other MRE, you get a commercial coffee creamer. And this is the same sugar that you get in the halal MREs, but you don't get a hot drink option in those, which I find really odd. But having salt and pepper, all MREs should do this. Why they don't, I don't know, because someone might want to add a little pepper to their meal. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my hot drink option, and I'll just save that coffee for another day. I pulled this English breakfast tea out of my camping food bag. I have two other ones in there, so I'm just going to go with this for tonight, just to change it up. There is no spread, no cheese, or anything for the chili mac. See, my crusher is here. This is the chili mac totem. I think Mike might recognize it. Just going back through the chat to see if I missed anybody. With these type of drink powders, I like to mix these up first because they take long to dissolve. Yep. Yeah, these, I don't know what it is about this one and the regular fruit punch. They're the worst. Now the other ones that are like this, like the lemon lime or the grape or the orange, they actually mix better. I don't know if it's something in the red, something different about the red coloring that's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the pot. And I will probably warm these tortillas up as well. While I'm at it, I may even hunt up a cheese spread with jalapenos, since I have a few packets of that. So that will take a little extra time since I want the cheese spread with jalapenos with this. I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment or what, but I think this just calls for some cheese. Anyway, I'll be right back. I brought out a cheese spread with jalapenos. Actually, I'm actually going to put that back over top of the teacup. When I was looking online about these totems, sometimes they might have a pouched fruit instead of a cookie. But I was not expecting a snack like the peanuts, so I do like seeing that. It's a chocolate chip cookie. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Broken in half, but that's okay. See if we can get a hiss out the peanuts. I don't know if you heard that. I'm going to put those right down there. So I have the tortillas laying on top of the stove next to where my kettle was that I had the hot water for my tea. So that burner's off, but there's still a little bit of residual heat. I'm going to go get that and I'll be right back. Oxygen absorber left behind. I like it when those things don't stick to whatever you're pulling out. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to go for a bunch of these peanuts. Yep, I prefer the peanuts roasted and salted. Let's see. Yeah. The date codes on here are pretty much late 2020. I could not find one on the cookie, but considering everything else is pretty much in this date range. So it has to be either late 2020 when this was packed or very early 21. So this is a pretty fresh ration. And these totems had not been around all that long, from what I was able to find on it. And if you do get a case of them, you get a case of 12, but you get 2 of each menu. So there's like 6 menus, and they don't have menu numbers. See, there's no menu number, anything like that. Nothing at all on that side. It's basically like the halal emeries or some of the civilian rations. You may not get a menu number. You just get something that says what the main is, and that gives you your idea of what it is. And speaking of mains, I'm going to go ahead and get that, and I'll be right back. I am back. I used this thing here, which came with a cookware set that I've had since college. Back in the 80s, I've had these all that time, and I really didn't. I bought them when I was in college, but because I was still living with my parents at the time, I just had them put away until I would later on move out on my own and had my first apartment. Well, before that, I lived with 2 of my sisters who shared a house for a time. I'm done with that thing, so put that back there. So I didn't need them then, so it wasn't until like 89 that I got my own apartment. I was so much closer to a bus stop because where I was back then, I had to walk a mile to the closest bus stop. See, I shake the food down. See, the tear notch goes across this way, so I shake the food down below the tear notch. That way, when I do go ahead and rip it across, and that was a much better rip than the last time. It definitely smelled like chili. I'm going to call it good for that. I'm using the ration bag as a trash bag. So this is the chili mac. I got a little over on the peanuts, but that's okay. It definitely smells like chili powder. Mix up the cheese into the chili mac. And I put a line of the cheese onto one of the tortillas. Well, cheese lightens up the color. You know, the flavor by itself before the cheese, I can definitely taste the chili powder. I can taste a bit of the tomato that's in the sauce. But this is macaroni and beef. There are no beans in here. The pasta is soft like you would expect. It's ground beef, but you can definitely tell it's there. It's not anywhere near the consistency of the meat that was in that corned beef hash that had gone south. I'm going to put a couple of spoonfuls of this into a tortilla. Had to cut your noodle that was coming out the other end. But the person assigned this one would probably be wishing that cheese spread was available or something, unless they just dipped the tortillas into the chili mac or just do it like this but without any cheese. And speaking of these chipotle tortillas, I got a packet of them in that big box of goodies that I'm going to save for another day. A typical tropical punch flavor. Although I'm still tasting the jalapeno, but that's okay. Going back for some more of these peanuts. Tabasco sauce would have probably gone in this if this was the standard 10 bag MRE chili mac, or either that or some other kind of hot sauce. There is Bob. Yep, I'm sure Bob probably remembers a few of these MREs. Maybe not the totems. You might not have had totems when you were in, because these were not around all that long. But you've had these particular mains like the chili mac. But I don't know if the cheese spread with jalapenos was around back then. There's a cheese spread with bacon, which has real bacon in it. I read the ingredients on one of the packets that I have, so I will not be eating that, but I will pass that on to someone else. But these chipotle tortillas, I really like these. I've only had one experience of a sea rat can. That was a B2. It had crackers and cocoa mix. Absolutely awesome. And then I had a can of bread, which would have been a separate item that was not in the standard MCI or sea rat. But when I opened that, that stuff stunk. But it was still cool to see what that looked like. Yeah, I would love to get a hold of a very, very well kept CRAT or MCI and have something perfectly edible out of it. Storms Radio and Cats in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, if I move, then it goes out of focus. It doesn't have a fixed focus that I've been able to find yet. But at least with this phone, it focuses when I tap it. Unlike the Galaxy S5 that I had used before, it does not. It just didn't want to focus anymore. Yeah, I would love to get a 1966. That would be something I would love to get a hold of, but finding one of those in decent shape would be a lot more difficult. LC in the house, thanks for dropping in. I grabbed the cheese spread with jalapenos and I added it to the chili mac. Put it in the chipotle tortilla. I should take the tea bag out of here. Been in there more than long enough. Cooled down enough where I can squeeze it. Yeah, my tea bag squeezer. It's English breakfast tea. I didn't think this thing had a hot drink option, so I set up to do a tea, but it's got a Bill's Brew coffee, but I'm going to save that for later. But this is what every emery should have, salt and pepper. Other countries do it. They do it for halal emeries, but not the standard ones. I don't know why not. Yeah, I grabbed a cheese spread with jalapenos and squirted some in there. And then I squirted some on one of the tortillas. Good thing I laid it on this other tortilla because it caught it coming out of this end. But I still have some cheese left in the packet, so I'll probably squirt it on that other tortilla. The chocolate chip cookie, broken half, but you can see how thick it is. I really do enjoy these chipotle tortillas. They got flavor to them. Just something a little different. Just like the vegetable crackers, I really do enjoy them. Huh. I was just reading one of Bob's comments about having to eat all of the sea rats that were in their inventory before they got to go to the MREs. So I guess they wanted to get rid of a bunch of the older stock. I got a little bit more cheese on there, so I'm just going to put the rest of it in here because I can. A Nation MRE Finds is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yep, the chili mac is definitely a good one. I hope this menu sticks around for a long time because it's got to be a morale booster to anyone who would be given this one to have for lunch or dinner. Yep, that's what a lot of people had to do if they had a vehicle that they could do that on. Either that or let the can sit in the sun for the day if it was during the summer. Yep, Bob is gonna duck out and then come back. Yep, as Bob said, he was in the Air Force. And then he got into the airplane building business. So he retired from there. Having some more of the roasted and salted peanuts. Well, that kept you occupied for a few minutes, I guess. Yeah. Someone did a fill-in stream for Smokey last night, which was pretty awesome. Life bit Smokey in the dupa, so we had a stand-in. Yeah, Cliff has been here for a while. He was probably like the second or third one in that I could see. Speaking of streams, I haven't heard when Sean over at Ration Museum will get back to streaming. He was doing it on Sundays and then he changed it to Mondays. So I don't know if he's got different working hours or if other stuff is going on. I don't know. Yeah, this is a chocolate chip cookie. If this one did not have a dessert in it, I was going to pull the oatmeal cookie from that came out of a newer HDR. Or I could have gone with one of my two apple sauces that I have. I have the cinnamon applesauce, and then I have a regular applesauce that's not quite as loose as the applesauce. That's just regular applesauce with no additional fruit or other flavors added. But since this cookie was in there, those will get saved for another day. Now, your channel name is usually the name that you have when you're in a chat or when you're dropping a comment on a video. And now that YouTube has something called handles, they work like they do on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where you put the @ and then right after that, you start the name. I would demonstrate it, but I can't type in chat on here. Yeah, one thing you can do, depending on what you're watching this on, if you go to the right of the name, you should hover or find 3 dots. You hit on those 3 dots and it should have the option of go to channel. That should either open up a new tab or take you to that channel. Then you can subscribe. And then you can just hit your back button to come back here if it kicks you out of this. At least it used to be that way. I don't know. I tried doing that earlier and I could not do that. I was watching, maybe it was last night, I was watching, I was actually trying to do it during a Nat stream. I was trying to go to a channel and I would hit on the three dots, but it wouldn't give me the option of go to channel. It only had block or report, and obviously I'm not going to do that. Not on someone I want, a channel I wanted to check out, possibly subscribe to. But since I do have mods in here, one of them can open up another tab, grab Elsie's channel link, and then drop it in the chat. So that's another way to go around that. There you go. So now you can click on that link or tap on it, the one that Mike dropped. Then that will give you the ability to go to Elsie's channel. That's okay. I have subscribed to people who had not put up any content yet. And then several months after that, then I would see that that person had dropped a video, so I'd go watch it. Yep, that's one way I do it as well. And there are some channels that I have watched that I have not subscribed to yet, but I will definitely be hitting on some more of those. There's a guy, his channel name is Killing Zombies, but he reviews rations. And then Me Ancient, he does ration reviews, and usually he has another guy with him. So I've watched those videos. And then there's a guy over in England. He does ration reviews, but he also does model airplane builds, and he flies them. Flanker Tanker is his name, but he reviews rations. But I think he flies his model planes in competitions. He gets different ones in and he shows how to assemble them. But he'll throw in a ration review. And like a lot of other people in Europe, he can get rations that are a lot harder for us to get. maybe even easier than what our Canadian buddies can get. And then there's another guy in England who likes to do a lot of medium distance or short distance hikes, overnight camps. He will sometimes take a ration with him, and he will review that ration, and sometimes he's done it at home, like during lockdowns. He would do ration reviews at home since they were not allowed to go anywhere except for necessity. His channel name is Tom Outdoors. Uh-oh. You two going after the same one? This could get a little interesting. Let's stray a bit of meat in there with my peanuts. So will this thing end pretty soon, and we can find out before I kick off who won this bidding war? It's a pretty good chocolate chip cookie. I almost call it a chocolate chunk. Yeah, my chat froze for a second, but I'm all caught up now. I don't know about multi-millions. It's not a mint condition 1500 uh, Spanish gold coin or anything like that. By the way, the spork that I'm using, titanium spork, and this mug, foreignemery.com. I still have some in stock. I don't have any rations right now, but you can get some of the mugs. They have some t-shirts. You would have to specify your size. And they had some of the rectangular snack tins that have this logo on them. They might have a few of those left. But I'm hoping that they can start getting rations to sell again. They last year they moved into a new house, and it looks like it's better set up for running their business. Plus, they have a better space where they could have a studio. And they were doing this on the side from regular jobs. Nina has a consulting business that she runs from home and maybe does some occasional travel. And then Art has done construction for years, and he has a channel called Sleepy Dog Construction, and he shows some different projects, cement work, building of their new house, among other construction projects that he's shot video of. Oh, LC. That would be absolutely scrumptious. I haven't had a whole lot of Malaysian food. But if it's anything like some other Asian cuisines I've had more of, it sounds really, really awesome. You know, one of the daughters of the head of my mosque married a Malaysian and lives full time in Malaysia. And so I've met her a couple of times when she's come here to the U.S. to visit her sisters and parents and her nephews. Her sisters, you know, all of this couple's daughters had boys, no girls. But yet the parents had only girls. So their daughters had only sons. But I haven't had a whole lot of Malaysian food, but I am very, very interested in it. Yeah, I've had some Korean food, I've had Vietnamese, I've had some Thai, although it was more like a fast food style, but I've enjoyed it. I've had some other. I was at an event and there was some Filipino food. Ah, oh, dang it, Mike. You got sniped. That's a bummer. I have been sniped before, and I've done some sniping myself. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I am so going to enjoy that one. But one time I got outbid on something, I got sniped, but then something happened with that particular buyer, and so the seller offered me a chance to get it, and so I did. I don't remember what that item was, but I think it might have been a silver coin that I had bought off of eBay, or maybe some foreign notes. There is Bob. But yeah, I got a second chance on this particular item, and so I jumped on it. I used to be more active in coin and currency collecting. I think the last time I bought currency was I had sent my Japanese military script to Sean at the Ration Museum, and then there was this lot on eBay that I saw. It had the same two notes that I had sent Sean plus a different one. So I bought this lot. So I have replaced what I sent to Sean plus another one. So that is the last bit of currency I bought. And then a few years before that I had bought a Polish coin. I was just scrolling back through the chat, so see if I missed anything. And a few years ago, I also went to a local coin shop and picked up a few silver coins and a couple of steel pennies. But that place moved off of a bus route, so someone would have to take me over there, or I would have to Uber it, and I really don't want to do that. And their website, they don't sell, they just have information on the website, so I can't buy through them. I really enjoyed going there the few times that I did, but oh well. It's not like I got the big bucks to go drop on silver every month, but once in a while, maybe for every few years, I might go, I might get some. Anytime I get change, I look at the coins for silver. Even though I use an app for my laundry, I still keep quarters as a backup in case I either run out of balance on the app or it's not working. Then I use those quarters, but I'd rather just build them up. Yeah, they wanted to do app only here, but I told the management that there may be tenants who do not have smartphones. What would be their option? To go to a laundromat? We had to do that during the full building reno back in 20 and 21. Very early into last year when we finally got machines back. So our machines take the app or quarters. By the way, this is the replacement of my original drinking jar. My original drinking jar was one that my mom had given me years ago. But I did hot cocoa in it, or hot drink in it one too many times, and it cracked, and I was able to save probably 2/3 of the cocoa, but I had to get rid of that jar, so I went on eBay and bought another one. It's not the same brand as the original, but it's still a drinking jar, and I like it. I just won't tell my mom I busted that one. But it looks like a canning jar with a handle. You can't can in it, but it's still cool. I think it's just something a little different to have. Of course, this brown tray, I originally saw a tray like this on a channel, Apple Stuff Bushcraft, or Apple Stump Bushcraft Stuffing Things. That's a long channel name. He used a tray like this in all of his reviews. I think he's up in Canada, I believe. I don't remember, but I haven't seen anything from him in a while. And I really thought that tray was cool. And so I've started out using a 1983 Tupperware tray. That was the only one I used when I first got into it after I won an MRE from Sticky Fingers 745. And I actually did a video on it. Yeah, my high school class, we had a fundraiser Tupperware party to raise money for our senior class trip. And so, being the good kid that I was, we were selling some items that I thought my mom would like and that she was wanting to have. So, I bought the tray and a couple other things and gave them to her. Well, I kept the tray myself, but the other things I gave to her. And then we went someplace and we were playing bingo, and they had Tupperware items as some of the prizes. So I won twice, and I gave those items to my mom. I think she won another time, so so that worked out. Sorry, I don't have any tapeworms. I have tapes, but no worms. But I use that Tupperware tray when I have an entree that will take up a whole lot more space than this area would. Say, like my Norwegian Arctic field ration, I will use it for that one. And I've used it when I've had some of the MCWs. Once you rehydrate that brick of food, that almost doubles in volume. Thanks for dropping in, Bob. Yeah, I would use that tray for that, or some of the Minotaur freeze-dried rations, I would use it for that. So those are the trays that I use. I have a third tray. I bought a pair of them at a thrift store. They're round. And there's I think Smitty. I think it's Smitty that has one. It's a round one, and it's got a larger main section and then 3 smaller sections. And I gave one of them to a local guy, well, not in the area, but, a guy that I'm friends with, and, I have camped on his family's property before. And someone had given him some MREs. So when I heard about that, I got this extra tray, I'll give it to him. So I gave him the tray. I don't know if he ever ate those MREs or what he did with them. 'Cause I thought he said he would open up one on camera, but he never did that. And so he's got the other tray, like the round one that I have, but I've never used it. Because I'm thinking it may be a future prize. Yeah, my next giveaway will be when I pass 1,500. Unless I choose to do a surprise one before then. Yeah, there are some pretty cool ones. There, I've seen some German surplus ones online. And I like the one that Delicious uses. He's a guy over in Poland who has sent me and Smokey some awesome stuff. I like the older ones that, let's see, Smokey has an older one that matches the bowl that he has. He has a couple of those older surplus Melmac bowls. And Sean at the Ration Museum has a similar type of tray, and he has the bowls and the cups. Those are pretty neat. And then I didn't dunk the cookie in the coffee because I didn't make the coffee. I was not expecting this totem to have a hot drink option, so I did tea instead. instead of pulling a tea bag out, I almost pulled a hot chocolate packet out, but I didn't. But this cookie would be perfect dunking in hot cocoa. I would dunk a different type of cookie in the tea if I wanted to do that. That's okay. This was a TOTM chili mac. I'm glad you got to have a good long break. Yeah, those surplus trays that have dates on them. Yeah, Smokies has a date on it. Those are really cool. At this one, it's packed by Warnick, so there was no date code on it, but all the date codes start with a 0, so it's got to be packed late 2020, maybe very early 21. There's a date code on the FRH. This one instead of the standard 10 packet of coffee creamer, get a packet of Coffee Mate. The same king sugar as in the halal MREs, but in those you don't get anything to put this in, so this is senseless why they do that. Get salt and pepper, which all MREs should have. They should start putting pepper in all of them. Get the same napkin as in the halal MREs. So no gum in this one. No spreads. So the jalapeno cheese spread I got from my stash. And so the chili mac was pretty good on its own, but using the jalapeno cheese spread worked, and had the chipotle tortillas. I was very happy to see that. This is a tropical punch My second least favorite USMRE drink. The regular fruit punch is the worst of them. I do not like it. It does not mix well at all. And this chocolate chip cookie, the chocolate almost has an orange flavor to it. I don't know why. I find that really odd. I mean, it's definitely sweet milk chocolate chips, but it almost has an orange flavor to it. But it's still a nice fresh cookie. And since I didn't use all of these things, these will get stashed in their usual places. When I was more into watching football, I was wanting to watch the Steelers most of the time. Elsie, did you order that all the way from Fong's? They have to fly it all the way from Des Moines up to. Is that what you did? I don't know if Fong's has ever put zucchini on a pizza. They might, but I never heard of them doing that. Thanks for dropping in, CT. Enjoy your last night of freedom, so to speak, before you have to start hauling doop all over the place. I want to be a fly on the wall to see the pizza person show up at his door with that pizza. Speaking of pizza, I want to do a small pizza in my Instapot to see how that does. I've yet to do anything with it. I did some dehydrating. This weekend I dehydrated all the leftover orange wedges that I brought home from the mosque Monday. I peeled all the skins off first. And I had a couple of oranges of my own. I decided, I'm just going to cut them up into wedges, dehydrate them as well, add them too. So I did that, and then I dehydrated some broccoli. It would still be funny. Elsie, it would still be funny. Order pizza from someplace the intended recipient doesn't know much about, and then have it show up. Yeah, I wouldn't mind onions on a pizza. I would be happy. Of course, I was teasing you about ordering from Fong's, which is a fusion pizza joint here in Des Moines. Their best seller is a crab rangoon pizza. You take the filling from the crab rangoons and you spread that on the pizza. Oh, dang it. They would need a drone to fly that pizza to you. Oh, now that would be funny to see his reaction to that. Yep, they wouldn't have drone service to your place. I don't know this Bill Bonnet person, so I don't know what that's all about. So something was posted about that. I didn't check it out. Well, it would have to take something seriously major in both the domestic and foreign oil markets, or several something majors all going down at once or in a domino effect. Again, that would have to be caused by something really, really big for something like that to happen on such a scale. Be natural or human caused or both. I take stuff like that with a few grains of that. But I do prepare for stuff like that to happen. Granted, I'm nowhere near as prepared as a lot of people who have the means to do more than I can do on my limited budget. But because I don't drive, I'm not quite as concerned about that, other than the fact that if I can't hop a city bus, I would have to rely on others to take me places. But if I can stick it out at home for a while with the supplies that I have, you know, I don't have to go out in an area where there may be utter chaos. Yeah. Yeah, I have, after the derecho that smacked us in August of 2020, I've had some friends who would be posting stuff on Facebook about wanting to be better prepared. So I would give them advice, just basically, do it sensibly. Don't go too crazy. You know, just buy extra now and then of the things that you use all the time, and have a backup plan. So they may not know that I'm a prepper, but if they took to heart at least the advice that I gave them, then and they've stuck to it, then they should be better prepared than they were back in 2020. Now, I've done some things since 2020 that derecho hit, like I have my 2 little power stations. I did not have those at that time. I had like some small 10-watt solar panels and my little power banks, but because I don't get good sun here on the north side of my building, it was hard to charge those. So that's why I have wanted to get more portable backup power. So I have my 2 little power stations, and I've added some power banks. Yeah, but those things would have to happen on at the right or wrong time, depending on how you think about it, at close to the same time. Yeah, you can, but don't drop it in this chat, but you know where you can drop it later. But there have been other people who have told their viewers to max out their credit cards now or take all your money out of the bank You know, do it now because stuff is about to go south tomorrow, and then that never happened, and then those people are screwed. Because there are some fearmonger channels out there that overhype things and not give people sensible advice. I don't have any credit cards, so obviously I'm not going to max any out. And I'm not going to get one just to max it out based on something like that. Of course, it would be nice to have an emergency fund that would cover at least a couple of months of rent and utility bills. But because we can't pay the landlord here any other way but online, oops, sorry, brief disconnect. There's no person here all the time representing the management company to give rent payments to. It has to be done online. If something like that happens, people are going to be unable to pay their rent unless there is someone here who could take cash payments. Or if we didn't have cash, but if we had gold coins, would they take a gold coin as payment? Yeah, but for someone in my position, that's just something that I can't do. Plus, the most affordable homes would be too far away from a city bus stop, and I just can't have that. When I lived way out on the east side, there's James in the house. Another James, thanks for dropping in. I couldn't go anywhere without bumming a ride because the closest bus stop was a mile away. And not all the streets have sidewalks along them. This is tonight's dinner. It came out of this. This is from late 2020 or very early 21 when this is packed. Yeah, the least you can get a halfway decent place here that is even somewhat respectable. I mean, you can't get anything less for 100,000, even at the low end. The median price is like almost 300,000. I have seen something on that, but I didn't know what state it referred to. I've seen, I didn't watch it, but I saw this title about some states restricting, possibly restricting fresh meat on with the SNAP or used to be known as food stamps. It's SNAP is Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. And it's a card like a debit card that gets loaded once a month with your approved benefit. And you can buy food with it. Although several years ago, energy drinks were excluded, so you couldn't use it to buy the energy drinks like a Red Bull or Monster or Rockstar or any of those. I don't like those things anyway. Yeah. And some states have finally ended their pandemic extra benefit. Iowa ended that in March of this year, or March of last year. But there's, would that be like deli sliced cheese? Or you go to the cheese cooler in the store and pick up a pack of Kraft singles? Yeah, what this is referring to is if this goes through, depending on what the location is and how it's structured, certain things could be excluded from SNAP benefit access. And right now you can buy candy with it. You can buy gum with it. I've heard some noise years ago that I heard people saying that candy should be excluded. Yeah, like I said, SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Used to be known as food stamps. Back in the day, food stamp recipients got these little books of these things that look like paper money, but they're about the size of Monopoly money. And you rip them out of the booklets and you use it like cash to pay for food. And then if the amount was that you gave was under $1 over the total, then the cashier would give you change. But the problem with that was people were selling their food stamps to other people and then using that money to go buy illegal drugs or alcohol or, who knows what. And then I was working in a Walgreens and someone was trying to use a couple of the dollar value food stamps to buy a roll of tape. And the guy couldn't understand why the cashier kept telling him that he couldn't do that. And he couldn't use food stamps to buy some tape. Yeah, that guy was not happy, but anyway. He did leave. But changing over to the debit card system, it was supposed to eliminate a lot of the fraud, but then people will sell the cards. Tell the person how much is left on, tell the buyer how much is left on the card. And then the seller would, if he or she was able to get someone to buy it, then use that cash to go buy something that they couldn't buy with the EBT benefit. But when you use the card, it just deducts the exact amount from whatever balance is on there. Yeah, it was. And sometimes in my, if I had a little bit of downtime, I would be taping together food stamps that were ripped apart, just like I would if I received $1 that was ripped. I would put a piece of tape on it to keep it together. Whereas back then, a small pack of gum was only a quarter, so someone go in there, take $1 food stamp, come into the Walgreens or whatever store, say they want to buy a 1 pack of gum to get the 3/4 that they would use to get something that they couldn't buy with their food stamps. So they're gaming the system that way. If they weren't saving the quarters for laundry. Yep, I did at Walgreens. Yep. And some people are allergic to those energy drinks. The few different ones that I've tried, I don't like them, so I'd never bought any of them since. Now, if I was somewhere at an event and there wasn't, if I needed a drink and I didn't have any on me, or I ran out of what I had, and someone had an energy drink and it was offered to me, yeah, I would take it. But it would not be my first choice. But several years ago, when Iowa stopped allowing EBT benefits to be used on energy drinks, that made some people mad, but they had to deal with it because that's what the law was. Yeah, of course the problem is sometimes the healthier food options are so much more expensive that they feel like they have no choice but to basically use what benefit amount they have to get as much of the cheap food that they can. Of course, sometimes there may not be healthy food options if a person lives in what's known as a food desert, where there are not many stores that have such things available or a good enough variety. But at least here in Iowa, I don't know about other states, but here in Iowa, you go to a farmer's market and you see a certain sign at the vendor, you can use your EBT card to buy fresh stuff there. And you can go into a store that accepts the EBT benefit, and if they have seeds for food plants, you can use that benefit to buy seeds. Say I take an EBT card, I go into Walmart, I pick up some herb seeds or some veggie seeds. I use that card to pay for those seeds. Well, it's either that or you order stuff online to have it shipped. Yep. And of course, the EBT benefit can be used to buy certain items on Amazon that are listed as EBT eligible. Yeah. Well, it depends on the store on Amazon. You can look for something that is EBT eligible. I think you can do it on Walmart, on the Walmart website. It all depends on the particular store. I know the Target stores that have a pretty much a full grocery section, you would have to check into if they accept it online or if it just depends on the particular store website that you're looking at. You'd have to look at their accepted payment options. Yep. Yeah, we have the food banks or food pantries down here, and one of the main ones down here, they have food trucks. They go around the city to different places at different days of the week. Say, for instance, Des Moines Area Religious Council will send a food truck to the Dart Central Station every Thursday afternoon, and you go up to the trailer that's pulled behind the pickup truck. They got their generator running, and when it's your turn to go inside, you can go in there and either get your main monthly allowance, where you get the most food, or you can get items from another section they call the daily or the weekly in this case, because it only shows up there once a week. But you could pick up other items, and sometimes you might get cleaning supplies or personal hygiene items. And a parent with a little kid could get diapers or baby formula if they have it. Yeah, the price of chicken as well as eggs going up because of what's happened to the commercial flocks. I think it was like 2 months ago, I bought a carton of eggs, and it was like almost $4, or almost, yeah, it was like between $4 and $5 for that dozen eggs, and the first carton I picked up had 11 in it. So I found an employee and said, "This one only has 11 eggs in it." So either one broke, and someone got rid of it, or somebody nipped. So I handed that one off, and then I grabbed another one and opened it before I put it in my cart just to make sure that there were 12 in there. But the price of gas is starting to go up here in Des Moines. I know last week the price of diesel was actually below $4 a gallon. There is Smitty. I was talking about you earlier. Were your ears itching? Talking about a tray you use when you have done some of your ration reviews in the past. Yep. This came out of this totem. This is a 2020 or very early 21. And I added a packet of jalapeno cheese spread. The round one. Yeah, the chili mac. It was pretty darn good tonight. Of course, it was even better with the jalapeno cheese spread and the chipotle tortillas. But I got another one of these totems, and I'm assuming it's out of the same pack as this one was. So the last totem I had was, I think, a 2016 or 17. And it was a spaghetti. So I got another one of these totems in the lineup. And now that I know that it has coffee, I will actually do what I didn't, when I was looking at some stuff online, said a cold drink powder. I didn't see anything about a hot drink, so I set myself up for an English breakfast tea, and then I opened the accessory pack, and I find these in there. Oh well, they'll get saved for another day. They'll get added to my stash. But I like that they put pepper in there. Well, I'm sure your life has been nuts like a lot of people's life has been. Yeah, I keep saying MRE packers need to put that in every bag, not just certain ones. And the halal MRE should have, it put sugar in there, but nothing to put it in. So I don't know what's up with that nonsense. Same napkin as in the halal MREs. The sugar is the same. But thanks for dropping in, Mike. Yeah, the weather's been weird. I mean, last Monday, I went to my mosque to help cook food for an event that we had there. I just wore a hoodie. It was that nice out. I figured, well, I'll need a hoodie when I go home. After about 6 o'clock, when it was getting dark, the temperature started to dive. So it was a bit chilly when I went out to go catch the bus. Of course, once I got to the bus stop, I only had to wait about 5 minutes, and then I was moving. And the bus driver had the heater on. Oh, there is Shadow Scout Suite in the house. Everything is gone except for my drinks. This is that Tropical Punch red stuff. It's my second least favorite USMRE drink. And because I was not expecting coffee to be in there or any hot drink option, I made myself an English breakfast tea. But that's okay, I'll save the coffee for another day. Is chili mac. And it came out of this. It's kind of like a scaled down version of an MRE. Less than 1,000 calories total. So, no gum in it, no spread. You got, this one had the chipotle tortillas. It had a cookie. Had roasted and salted peanuts. The chili macaroni. This drink mix. And no candy, no bar like a First Strike bar. So that's coffee. Unlike the standard MRE, You get pepper in addition to the salt. This is a commercial coffee mate instead of the packet that you would get in a standard Amory accessory pack. And you get 2 packets of sugar instead of 1. That's a wet wipe. And these spoons, I keep these spoons. These get added to my stash. And standard Emery's, you don't get a napkin. But this one, you don't get these, you don't get the little toilet paper wads I call rear rolls. But the little lighthouse tissue bundles, you don't get that. But those tissues you could use for napkins or, whatever. But these are meant for lighter duty work, like if you're not as physical as in a time where you would require more calories, like what you'll get in a standard MRE. So like the bag says, it's a training, like a training exercise, but not very vigorous. Or for an area where you're not able to have access to standard food, say like on a base or a field kitchen. But you don't need the calories of a standard MRE. That's when the soldiers would be given these. These have also been used as disaster relief rations, at least from the stuff that I read. Sorry, but I can't put wood in a truck or put a tarp over a truck. I don't have a truck. I don't have access to a lot of wood. So I can't do that. Hey, DeCarlos Perry in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This was one of my favorite mains. Out of this totem, I got another one of these in the box that will meet this tray in the future, near future. I hope you enjoyed all the goodies you got recently from the 2 prizes that you won. Nation MRE Finds had a giveaway. He had 3 prizes. I won one of them. DeCarlos won the second one, and then someone else won the third. I forget who won that one. And then DeCarlos won another giveaway. And so he opened up both of those boxes in one video. Well, that was pretty darn cool that he won 2 giveaways, so he got enough video fodder for a little while. Yep. Then I won another giveaway a few nights ago, but the prize was a hoodie. So I should get that sometime next week. And I'm waiting on a packet of seeds from Garden State Gardener, because I won. He's doing a seed giveaway every day this month, because several members of his family have birthdays in this month. And my birthday was earlier this month. I didn't win it on my birthday, but that's okay. But I'm waiting on a packet of seeds from him. Oh yeah, Spicy Tuna Rolls got the 3rd one. Yeah, you need to do a video on that one. But yeah, the emery I got in that box was the corned beef hash, but unfortunately mine got compromised and I couldn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked. I did eat all of the crackers. I drank all of the grape drink, and I ate the oatmeal cereal bar. I did eat all of that, but I had some backup plans. The other brown bag items that were just loose in the box, like the peanut butter and another grape jelly. I did not eat the fruit though. I'm holding on to that one because that one to me seems to be particularly hard to find freeze-dried fruit, so I'm holding on to that one. The accessory pack was messed up because the stuff on the matches had rubbed off on everything else. So I had a different hot drink than what would have come out of that MRE. Yeah, the other freeze-dried fruit that I'm holding on to is I got a brown bag MRE and it had a freeze-dried fruit that was packed in white, like the RCW packaging. And I thought that was very unusual to have that, so I decided that I'm going to leave that one sealed up. In fact, I have that in one of my fruit buckets. that I have freeze-dried and dehydrated fruits in. There is CR in the house, another Canadian. So several Canadians in here. CT was in here earlier, but he had to blow out of here. But a few other Canadians here. Got Elsie and Smitty. Shadow Scout Swede is in Sweden, and he went to go get some coffee. That sounds like one persistent pup. Yeah, Pumpkin is sleeping. Sometimes she makes an appearance, sometimes she would just rather sleep. But that's a cat for you. Yep. When people hear me say that I have a cat named Pumpkin, they think I have an orange cat. And I say, nope, she's a tortie. And then if I can, I show a picture. But I tell them that this is not my choosing of her name. A friend brought her to me, and that was the name she had, so I'm not going to confuse the cat. Yeah, some, but you don't see much of that really. Yep. Of course, Mila, I chose her name because she did not have a name when she was brought to me when she was only 5 weeks old. But I wanted to give her a Polish name since I'm Polish, so I went through my Polish dictionary and I found the word Mila. So that's what I chose. Yeah, but I just looked at her and then I was going through the dictionary and I saw that word Mila and I read what it means, and that's it. And so I just kept saying that word, just you know, trying to get her used to hearing it. She was with me for 18 and a half years. A basset named Pierogi. When I had some little birds, I gave them all Polish names. The first bird I got was a blue, black, and white parakeet. He was between 4 and 5 years old when I got him, but he was never named. So I named him Lech after Lech Walesa. And then I got I went to a bird show, and they had this little bird called a European linnet. But I don't know if he just did not live very long, or he was kind of old when I got him, or what. But I only had him for 6 months, but I named him Sigismund. And then I got a canary. He lived longer, and I named him Casimir. And then zebra finches, I named one Jadwiga and the other one Kaczka. So those are the other Polish names I gave pets. So the next animal I pick out for myself, I will give that one a Polish name. Sorry about the shaking. This phone mount is not the steadiest thing in the world, but I make it work. Let's see right now. (14 degrees Fahrenheit) here. This is the old Samsung Galaxy S5 that I've had it since 2014. It just does not do as much anymore, but I haven't been able to find a replacement that I can put the old Sprint SIM card in. So until I can get it replaced, because I would like to have at least a backup, even if I don't have actual cell service on it, as long as I can use it for video recording and internet, it's still a backup plan. Yeah, 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit. But we had more white stuff come down overnight. Not as much as the previous snow we got. Well, for all of next week, it's supposed to be in the 20s and 30s Fahrenheit for daytime highs. And teens and 20s Fahrenheit for lows. But that's typical January temperatures around here. Yeah, that better not be 50 Celsius. That would be way too hot. Yeah, me too, Elsie. That's the way it is. I do not have my heater on at all. As you can probably tell by the faint spinning shadow on my tray, my ceiling fan is running. I got two other fans running. And even though I'm at the east end of the building, I think I'm drawing heat from, there's a heater in the hall, so I'm probably drawing some from that because it's across the hall from my door, or one end of it anyway. Then I have an apartment below me. I got one on the other side. I may be drawing heat from those. There are heaters in the stairwells. They're the floor baseboard type radiant heaters. They're electric. So when those are on, I may be drawing some of that residual heat from those. Plain old Chuck is here. Haven't seen you in a minute. I started this stream over an hour and 2.5 hours ago, like 2 hours 40 some minutes ago. So it's good to see you in here. I had chili macaroni out of a training ration known as a tailored operational training meal. It's a lower calorie single meal ration. But it had the chipotle tortillas with it. I really do like those. I added some jalapeno cheese spread to it. A drinking jar. I replaced the one that my mom gave me years ago because I broke it. But I got some tea left in here. Yep. That's okay. Life happens. Yeah, I'm with you on the humidity, Smitty. I can't stand it. And this apartment, it's very hard to keep the humidity down low during the summer. But in the winter, my humidity in here usually averages between 30 and 40%. Well, it cools off. Well, in the summer, I have my air conditioner really cranking, so it's a lot cooler in here. So I spend more money on cooling than I do heating because it really doesn't take much to keep this place where I like it. In fact, when I do have the heater on, I have it set to kick on if it drops below 64. And then when the temperature reaches 64, it kicks off. And I only have it running in here. I do not have the baseboard heater in the bedroom running at all because I like it cooler for sleeping. Of course, in the summer it's the reverse because I only have the one unit for both heating and cooling. It's the same unit, but there's only one in here, so I have to supplement with fans. So my tower fan that I have in the bedroom is on constantly during the warmer months. The only time it would not be on would be if my power goes out. Ooh, yeah, that would be a bit much. But it can get above 100 Fahrenheit here in Iowa. It has. We've had a couple of days this past summer where it actually got that hot. But it was not so much the heat, it was the dryness because we had so little rain this past summer. Yeah, like I said, we got above 100 a few times here. There have been some years where it would be above 100 at 6 p.m. Oh, Cliff, you're in Alaska? That's one state I would love to visit. I watch a few Alaska channels or some channels that run by people who have properties up there. Yeah, there's a couple who live in northern Michigan, but they have a property up in Alaska that they will go to during the summer, to a cabin that they both built with their own hands. And then I'm not subscribed to him, but I've been watching a guy named Sean in Alaska who is building a cabin by himself. Sometimes he'll get someone to help him, but he's living in a camper on the property. But every morning he goes out to feed his chickens. And then there's another, some prepping channels. Alaska Granny, she has showed pictures of moose coming onto her property. Yeah, yeah, Elsie, I have actually used snow that way. I was camping with a large group during the winter, and because I was the only one in the group who had any kind of medical experience, I was given use of a canvas wall tent that was set up over my small camping tent, and that was set up as a first aid tent. And then what I had done was, when we got snow, I would put the snow around the base of the tent, the two long sides and the back end, and only left the front end where I would go in and out. That's the only place I wouldn't put the snow, around the base of it. And then we did that to the other common. We had these big hoop barns that we used as community tents for our group activities. And we did the same thing to that. We piled snow up around the long sides and the back end, and only left the front end where people go in and out. We left those open. And that really did work in cutting the cold draft from going underneath the bottom of it. And then we had, in those hoop barns, we had heat lamps hanging from the metal frame pieces. And because we had electricity access, we had those heat lamps running, and you put 5 or 6 of those in there, 250 watts each. You can actually get some pretty decent heat in there. Yep. And I have watched people doing these winter camping videos where they do not take a tent or a hammock, maybe not even a tarp, and if there's enough snow, they will make themselves a shelter with snow and with pine or spruce branches. And they will, if they do it right, they can stay warm in there without the thing collapsing as long as you do it right. Yeah. Most of the time, California is dry, although Northern California is excessively wet right now because they got too much rain all at once. Yeah. So it's out of focus again, but there's nothing to focus on. Yeah, it probably did. Yeah, it can be. You watch any California channels, they'll tell you what it's like during the summer, especially in the southern half of the state. That can be really, really bad down there. You know, because the the wildfires they've had the past few years have been really bad, and then they get all this rain, you got more problems. The ground is just too hard to absorb it, so it just runs off. I would not want to live in California. I'll stay right here in Iowa. If I do have to leave the state, I'll go down to my brother's property in Arkansas. If I can get someone to take me down there, that's what I would do. Yeah, right now my brother's up here for a while, staying with two of my sisters. He got himself a job up here for who knows how long, but he's not giving up that property down in Arkansas. He's going to keep it. It's he paid cash for it back in the 90s. Or early 2000s, something like that. And he only has to pay the property tax on it, plus any utilities. Unless he had them shut off while he's spending time up here, which he probably did. mean, no sense in paying for electricity if you're not going to be living there for a while, but he's not selling. It's close to Lake Ouachita. That is a huge man-made lake down in Arkansas. And it can be really good fishing down there. In fact, there are professional fishing tournaments held on that lake. I've been to my brother's property just a couple of times. It's really nice and secluded. In fact, it's far enough out there where it's blocked by another guy's property, and so he had to talk to the neighboring landowner about getting a private road done so that my brother could get on and off of his property, but yet they did it in such a way where the neighbor could use it to get on and off of his property so they both could use it. And they had this road made in such a way where they both could have access to it. But after my dad died, my mom asked my brother to keep my dad's bass boat down there, so that's where he keeps it. And so whenever he wanted to go fishing, he could take it down to the lake until he got into an accident and thoroughly totaled his truck. But that's what he did. He would take the boat down to the lake to fish. Or just to drive the boat around even if he didn't fish. But that beats paying for a slip in a marina. And they can be pretty pricey to keep a boat in a rental slip in a marina. But because of where my brother's property is, he can hunt on his property, and because he has public land behind him, he could go hunt on that public land if you wanted to. My brother couldn't get work down there of the kind that he could do because after his accident, it messed his back up, so he can't do a lot of the more physical labor that he used to do. But he's working in an auto parts store here, and he's liking it. So he's taking a bus to his job right now. Yeah, he doesn't feel like he's ready to start driving again yet. Yeah, for a while we weren't sure if my brother would be able to recover as well as he did. He had to have a lot of physical therapy. For a while he stayed with a friend because his friend's house is more accommodating for someone with limited mobility, and my brother was at the time. Or his own house, not so much. But yeah, he's probably about 85% of his former self. Yeah, my brother would just have to take more frequent breaks if he was doing physical labor, but working in an auto parts store, he doesn't have all that hard physical work to deal with, like when he was doing landscaping and drywall and stuff like that. Just checking the battery on my phone. My power bank that I plugged into has been dead for a while, so this phone is at 50% power, 50% battery left, and I've been on over 3 hours. It's about it's almost 10:15 here. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I bet there was some pretty nasty words being yelled out. Yep, you have to be thankful for that. Yeah, my brother is thankful that he recovered as well as he did. Yep. Have a good night, Elsie. I'll probably be cutting this one off pretty soon anyway, since it is after 10 o'clock here. I think this is the longest I've been on. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. It's good to have some people in who had not been in here before. I hadn't seen Cliff in here before. So I do this every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. And early in the AM on the other side of the pond. Be like 4 p.m. Alaska time. So I do want to thank y'all for dropping in. I'll figure out what I'm going to pull out of the box for next Sunday. So I hope some of you come back again and catch you on the flip side.